Okay, today's video we're going to talk about how many keywords you should have in each ad group when you're running campaigns via Google Ads, okay? To get right to the point here, the short answer to this question is going to be only one if you want to make the most possible money. And you may not be thinking, well, I'll settle for okay money. If you do not set up your campaigns competitively to where you're the top 20% of people who set up their campaigns to perform the best out of all the 10 or so people cycling in and out of the top 4 ad spots on Google, which does happen in most competitive markets, you're not going to simply either make any money at all, you're going to lose money in other words, or you're going to make barely anything, and it's not going to really do much for you. So you don't have the convenience anymore in 2023 and beyond to simply just do whatever good enough to get by, because that generally doesn't make any money. To make good money, you get in that 20% of top advertisers, which when I say top, that means highest click-through rates, highest conversion rates on the page that you're taking them to on your site. You do that, you make tons of money. Everybody else makes little to nothing. So it's do or die, shit or get off the pot when it comes to Google Ads anymore. Google set it up that way to encourage new guys to come in, challenge the status quo, to get the current guys that are sitting fat and happy and sitting pretty to do better, and constantly find a new version of ad that they can run for their users who use Google, so that the experience people get on Google overall keeps getting better and better and better. So a one keyword per ad group model actually does what Google wants you to do, which is improve the experience for their users by being in the top, not just 20%, but being in the top space in terms of performance on your click-through rates and your conversion rates in your market, because other people in your market probably almost for sure won't want to do the extra work necessary to have one keyword per ad group and having lots of different keywords so that they can have custom ads for every keyword that you're targeting and that people are searching for. And furthermore, a hand-picked page on your site to send them to based upon what that, looking at what the user is searching for, and then what page, and then deciding which page it should be sent to on your site. So you can actually make 3 to 5 times more money, and I mean profit, 3 to 5 times more profit from your ads in your market through Google search ads that's available from the people searching on an ongoing basis on Google search by doing the one keyword per ad model. And this is actually called SKAG, or single keyword ad groups model, if you want to research it more after this video. This is though something I use on every single client's campaigns that I set up for clients. And I run a PPC agency where I got to guarantee results for clients, or we don't even get paid. We don't even get paid until we get results for clients. And I use the SKAG model for every single client we work for, because we know it gets proven results every time. So I'm not just BSing you when I talk about doing this. You can do it the way everybody else does it, and maybe you'll make money, probably lose money, or you could do it the way I'm talking about and make tons of money every single time. So now technically I will throw in there that short term at least, you would technically get faster results, meaning you get to profitability sooner if you were to use less ad groups overall, meaning you're using less keywords. I wanted to just throw that in there. It's something that you should know going into this, to where if you only have a tiny bit of money and that money has to turn into a profit quickly for you, or you just run out of money, you might start out with less keywords, but still go one keyword per ad group right away, because you get quicker results. But you're not going to make the most money by far that way. You can make the most money by figuring out the few hundred ways that people search for what you sell, and then targeting them individually with unique ad groups each time, which gives you the ability to have unique ads and unique pages that you're taking the user to for every single keyword, which gives the user the best possible experience. So, and the reason for this is because Google can calculate your quality score that they give you on each keyword faster when you're targeting keywords that get more clicks. And so, in other words, if you have 500 keywords, it takes a long time to get the minimum few hundred clicks on each one for Google to give you a good quality score. Versus if you had 3 keywords, it doesn't take much time to build up 300 clicks per keyword for Google to give you a decent quality score. That's the main reason why you'll get faster results with less keywords, but you'll make way more money overall, longer term, with more keywords. Because with more keywords, you're gonna have much better click-through rates, much better conversion rates on the traffic you're driving to your site, because you can control what they see specifically on the ad and on the landing page, and to dictate what that user needs to see when they search for very specific things on an individual user by user basis there. And knowing what they're searching for, so therefore you know what they want to see. So anyway, if you want to know why to use the 1 keyword per ad group, to go in this a bit further, results of using 1 keyword per ad group, that all comes down to the results. How do you get the 3 to 5 times more profit running 1 keyword per ad group? You get an increase in click-through rate to start with of 250% or right around thereof. Having an increase in click-through rate is going to raise the quality score that you get, which dictates what you're going to pay per click tremendously. And of course, if you raise the click-through rate or rate in which people click through your ad, you're going to get way more people out of your market to actually get to your site that you want. So what you'll find out is, getting people who are looking for your product or service by Google searches and Google ads is worth its weight in gold. So you want as many people as possible that you can purchase through the Google ad system. And if you have an ad set up for every keyword, by using 1 keyword per ad group, you get the most people to click on your ads. Therefore, just from that reason alone, you'll get 250% more customers through the Google ads system if you were to simply use multiple keywords in each ad group, okay? So that's which is why, by the way, the bigger reason why we use this every single time. But going further here, what other things you'll experience is a much lower cost per click. So what you're paying for each click, because of the quality score increase you're going to get. Your quality score determines what you pay per click on an individual keyword by keyword basis. Half of that, what you're being charged, comes down to the click-through rate, and half of it comes down to the landing page experience, as they call it, but really it's the conversion rate of the user when they get to your site. And because you're getting a 250% increase in click-through rate, your quality score goes up tremendously, and then that instantly drops what you're paying per click along with it. But so you physically get a higher quality score, which lowers your cost per click tremendously. And because you're targeting more keywords, if you're going to actually do it the way that I mentioned, you have less competitive terms to target, which are generally cheaper. So you'll be targeting keywords off the main beaten path that most people that you compete against are going to target, which, since they're not targeting those keywords, they're going to be less cost, because Google Ads is a bidding system, and if there isn't people targeting those keywords, it means the cost per click is going to be less as a whole, which is another reason why you'll experience lower click-through rates, to where you're going to pay 75% lower cost per click than doing it the other way, where you have a bunch of keywords within each ad group that you have. And so, and to prove this out, go ahead and go into the Google keyword tool and search for a few keywords in your market, and you'll see they'll estimate what's the average assumed cost per click to be at the top of Google for the high end and the low end. And what you'll notice is the high end and the low end, there'll be a 4x difference in cost versus the high and the low end. If you have a really low quality score, you're going to pay the high end forever. You always pay closer to the high end right away until you get several hundred clicks on your keyword, like I was talking about before. But if you do all the things I'm telling you here, you'll pay close to the low end, which is 4 times less per click. So it's really up to you what you're going to be paying. And again, it's very hard to make money if you're paying the maximum rate per click, because you're doing all this stuff unideally, which Google wants to push you out if you're not going to try, because they want only the people that are trying to be able to be the ones that get to show up all the time on Google. So instead of just blocking you and say, hey, you suck, we're not allowing you anymore, they just charge you so much more per click that you give up, okay? So much lower cost per click. And then conversion rate wise, you should be able to get a 50% higher conversion rate of the people that you get to your site to turn into a lead or purchase and or both. Why? Because you're going to have less waste targeting more specific searches. To give you an example, what I mean here is, if you're selling pottery wheels to make pottery, you could target the keyword pottery wheels, right? Or you could, if you sell a pottery wheel with the brand name Brent, which is a brand of pottery wheel in that market, you could target the keyword Brent pottery wheels instead and get a much higher conversion rate, because essentially what you're guaranteeing yourself there is, if they're searching for a pottery wheel, we don't know exactly what type of pottery wheels they sell, or that they want, sorry. So if they come to our site, even though we sell pottery wheels, maybe they were expecting to see something else that we don't sell, because we don't offer every single pottery wheel in the world. And so it's a crapshoot whether or not what we have is going to meet the user's expectations of what they thought they were going to see before they clicked on our ad. Whereas if they're searching for a Brent pottery wheel, the likelihood that we have something that matched their expectation is going to be much high. There's a much higher rate that we are going to meet their perceived expectation of what they would want and expected to see before they clicked on that ad. So therefore, because we know we'll meet the consumer's expectation, or it's more likely that we'll meet the consumer's expectation when they make a more specific search like that, and that assuming that you pick the keywords that match what you're selling as well, your conversion rate will go up because there'll be less waste that you're paying for. Furthermore, the more specific searches that you target, and more specific language, basically users use when they type in what they're going to type in Google, all those keywords that you target that are more specific in nature, that are still relevant to your business, will all convert at a higher rate, because there's just an unwritten rule that the more specific that the more specific term that people use when they type into Google, the more likely that a person is going to be to buy when they get to your site. And the reason for this is because when somebody's starting to do their research, going back to that pottery wheel example, when people start searching for pottery wheels and they just type that into Google, it's more likely that person is going to be simply looking for how much are pottery wheels, what's the options out there. And then with the people advertising under that keyword, a lot of them are going to be paying just to educate this person that's now just entering in the market on what you have. And a lot of those people will never even buy a pottery wheel. They were just getting their feet wet, starting to think about it. Whereas if they're typing in a Brent pottery wheels into Google, that person's more statistically likely to actually make a purchase of a pottery wheel, because if they made that brand level search, that shows that person's already done a certain amount of prerequisite research prior to making that search, which means they got through the first stage of research in that market. They've got to the second stage of it where they kind of narrowed it down so far, which means, of course, they're just going to be more likely to go on to actually make a purchase versus the people that are just getting to start doing their research. There'll be a higher percentage of those people that never make it to the end of the process where they're actually making a purchase. So someone searching for pottery wheels and clicking on an ad, only 30% of those people or thereof will make a purchase. Whereas somebody making a brand level search where they're typing in and looking for a specific brand of pottery wheel, roughly 50-60% of those people are going to make a purchase at the end of the day after a certain minimum time period passes where they've thought about it and so forth. And then it gets even more, the keywords have a higher saturation of people that are going to actually buy, the more specific the search gets. If they were to type in Brent pottery wheels for sale, instead of the average, 55% of the people going on to purchase, you might have 65% of those people that make that even more specific search go on to make a purchase. And it gets more and more and more saturated with a higher percentage of a a higher and higher percentage of buyers as a whole, the more specific the search actually is. So if you're, targeting a bunch of different keywords, not just a few, like a lot of the people that try to do Google Ads that want to not put much time into it or just don't know otherwise, they ultimately they target like pottery wheels, and they'll target target that term like with broad match or phrase match, which gets you all the general things related to pottery wheels. They end up targeting a bunch of people that are doing general research, and then therefore the ROI of what they're doing goes down because their conversion rates are going to go down. Versus if they were to focus on the more specific terms only, the conversion rates would be much higher overall, because those are all terms that can naturally convert at a higher rate because they have a higher saturation level of buyers within them that make those searches. Therefore, your ROI is going to go up on your campaign a lot. As a last thing to mention here, unique ads maximize click-through rate on the highest converting terms. So kind of going full circle on this whole thing, your budget that you have to spend, you could spend all of it on these more specific searches, or you could spread it all out and spend some money on people doing initial research and some other money on people that are mostly completing their research, or you could just spend all of your money on people completing the research and get a better return. And that's what you ought to be doing, but it takes some work to set things up. So you have one keyword per ad group, so you have a handwritten ad for every keyword, and you can decide what's the best page to send people to on your site, whether that's a landing page that's custom, or a category page on your site, or a product level page on your site, or a search results page on your site, or what have you. And just really look at the keyword and trying to think for yourself, what is it that consumer actually wants, so I can give it to them directly in the ad and give it to them directly on our site by giving them the best relevant page for that term on the site. So, but there will be certain terms that are so specific, right? And if you don't have a unique ad set up for each one of those terms, you're just not going to get as many clicks on those really, really high converting terms as if you would have one ad for a bunch of different keywords, because you can't be that specific. If somebody types in Brent pottery wheels for sale, and we have an ad that says Brent pottery wheels for sale on it, and there's 3 other ads that don't have that exact saying on it, whose ad do you think they're going to click on? So they're going to click on it at 2.5 times the rate as other ads, and that just gives us more clicks from our market, from these people that are just super, super high converting to begin with. So we get more market penetration of the part of the market that's the most profitable to us, going with this whole one keyword per ad group, and of course having a lot of actual ad groups in our campaign as a result, and with doing all of this. So basically, just being able to think about what that user wants that's typing in this specific term wants to see, and then handwriting an ad for that puts you really at the top of the pack in terms of your local market, in terms of what Google wants to see, what actually works to make a good ROI. It just takes some time to write the ad, and most people that you compete with, even if I tell them what I'm telling you here today, they're not going to want to put that time in. But if you put the time in, you're automatically going to make a bunch of money, because nobody else wants that, and that's what the consumer wants, and that's what Google wants. So as a last thing, just to reinforce everything I said here as well, the more specific the keyword is, the higher it's going to convert. So if you can get terms that are 5 words long that you're using as keywords, those are going to convert at a super high rate, because anybody that's going to be that specific about what they want, if they type in, I want 4 horsepower Brent pottery wheels, somebody typing that in is pretty much almost ready to buy for sure, within the next day or two. They're just trying to figure out what's the cheapest one that meets my requirements, because I already know I got to have a 4 horsepower pottery wheel, and I want the Brent brand, and in other words, I want a 4 horsepower Brent pottery wheel. They're just narrowing down who's got them and who's got the cheapest price, and now I'm going to go with that one. Versus somebody typing in even Brent pottery wheels. We don't know if they're looking for 4 horsepower or whatever. Maybe we don't have 4 horsepower, like I said before, and then you're wasting your money. But even if they're just looking for Brent pottery wheels, there's a lot of different pottery wheels that are made by Brent. And so that person's just not going to be as high converting than if we knew that person already knew they wanted a 4 horsepower. And then, so this whole thing just helps you be in position to drive home the maximum value from the part of the total searches in your market that are most valuable. And the more specific they get, the more profitable that they are. And you'll get as many possible clicks as you can from the most valuable part of your market doing this whole way of setting up a search campaign, as I mentioned here. So pretty much I'll wrap it up with that. I know it's way more complicated than you probably thought that you wanted to make all of this, but trust me, you can go ahead and try what you're doing the simple, easy way, having a bunch of keywords in one ad group, and then basically being able to set everything up in your Google Ads account in 15 minutes. Most people who do that, and I know because I've set up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts, and I've seen hundreds of accounts, what works, what doesn't work. Unless you're in a market that doesn't have much competition and there's still high demand for what you sell, that's not going to be it's not going to put you over the mark to be profitable. If you got a lot of competition, it takes this to be able to do well anymore. Not every time potentially, but if you want to guarantee you're going to do well in a hyper competitive market, you got to spend some time setting up your campaigns. If there isn't a lot of competition, you can get by with the minimum. It's really, to sum this up, you got to be able to beat the competition one way or another. If there isn't much competition, sure, spend 15 minutes setting your campaign up. If there's tons of competition though, you got to be able to outdo those local the local people or people in your market that are already there, been running their ads for years, and that got all this money and time behind their campaigns to have optimized them. And if you want to be able to get this to work without spending a ton of time and money to get you to initial profitability, then you take the shortcut by doing some extra work on your campaigns to deliver what the market needs, and you'll cut down the time that it takes to make money tremendously. It still might take you a month or 2 or 3 before you hit profitability with your ads, because it takes time for the system to kind of learn the ads that you have are good and give you the benefit of the doubt, lowering your cost per click and so forth. But at least you'll have something that you know will work once you give it that minimum time that it takes to really kick in, get scaled up, and so forth. So versus getting into it not knowing if it's truly going to be a waste of your time or will work. If you do this, it will work. It's just a matter of when. Is it going to be month 1, month 2, month 3 that you break even after your expenses, and then it's all gravy after that. It's all downhill slide. Gets more and more profitable from there. So I'll wrap it up with that. If you have any questions about anything I covered today or any other PPC related questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel. And with that, if you have any, basically if you're looking to make money with your ads, I have lots of other advice on this channel about how to make millions of dollars running ads for your business on different platforms, Facebook, Google, Bing, all of it. And I give you the information that we use to guarantee results for our clients. As mentioned earlier in this video, it's the best information you're going to find on YouTube, as it's not coming from a professional YouTuber. It's coming from somebody who manages dozens of ad accounts for clients directly on an ongoing basis. So it's coming straight from the source. So you should consider subscribing for that, as you're not going to find, even better information elsewhere. We'll just leave it at that. And furthermore, I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. If you like my channel, you'll also love my blog as well. So you should check that out as well. If you like the video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. And if you need somebody to help you manage your ad accounts or set everything up to get these results, we don't charge fees when we work with our clients up front until they get some minimum results on their account. If you would like to see if we can work with you on that capacity, where I can work directly, create the strategy for your account and get you those results, reach out to my firm at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to look over your stuff and see and estimate how much results we can get for your account, particularly from up front, before we have to charge any fees. We normally want to make you more profit than what we charge before we charge anything at all, and we can explain how that works. But you have to reach out to me. We don't, of course, work with just anybody. You got to have a great product or service that looks like it has a lot of potential. But you'll won't know unless you reach out, and I can look over your stuff and we can have a chat about it. But and I'd love to hear from you. So, and of course we worked in tons of different markets already. In a lot of markets we have results from running campaigns in that market for many years already. And what we started to do here is we got so efficient that some companies don't want an ad agency to work with them, and what we'll do is we'll sell the campaign templates that work for those industries. And a lot of people are using these templates to just set up shop in a new business that they're not even traditionally in, outsource the work to another person locally, and had a nice passive income business going, we've done that several times with several people now. And if you're looking for a way to make some extra money, or just switch markets, or just trying to figure out how to make money without all the hard work of setting up, learning how to run a successful ad account, maybe we've worked in your market already, you can reach out to me and ask about the results that we got and what campaign templates we have in different markets. And we can get you the template that works for your market, or in a market you'd like to enter and do a similar business model that some of our other clients that are using our campaign templates are using them in. We ultimately provide the templates of the ads and the landing pages, so you can for sure get results on it, and it's basically turnkey. You plug it into your account, it gets the results that we know it got for the last person. And as long as you're not in the same market that a current or past client was in, it's fair game to use what worked in those geographic markets in your geographic market, or whatever market you would like to work in. Anyway, if you're interested in that, like what results we got and in what markets, reach out to me at GaryTPPC.com. I'd be happy to mention what we have results in and what we can do there as well. So I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.